Hello scholars, this is Mrs. Hall. I'm going to be going over document A from Musa's Hajj. Document A is titled Musa's Hajj by the Numbers. A little background information before we start. There are several accounts about Musa's Hajj, and one of those that we see, you'll get an account in document C, but from Ibn Battuta, who was an Arab who visited this African empire of Mali, and he retells what he sees. One account claims that Musa rode in the middle wearing silk robes. Another account tells us that he had up to maybe 12,000 servants, all who were also wearing silk. And at this time, silk would have been a status symbol. Another account claims that the caravan stretched more than 300 miles. This is unlikely, but what we do know and what story it does tell is that this caravan was extravagant. What we do know is that these stories are told to us through oral histories. Most of the Arab writers were Muslims. There could have been the influence to possibly glorify and bring more attention to what was actually happening. So as you read through this document, you want to critically consider the religious, social, and even political context of each of the writings, and consider what the writer is telling in the story. So first of all, I'm going to start off by reading the document itself. And the document that we're looking at, again, is document A, Musa's Hajj by the numbers. And so quite literally, it's giving us the numbers relative to this journey. So a little bit more background again. Musa goes on a Hajj to Mecca, and a Hajj is a religious pilgrimage. He goes on this journey by caravan, and along with him are all of the characters that are described in the hook exercise, where you got to choose your own character from whose perspective you're going to write and tell the story. So let's read document A. It says, document A, number of people on the Hajj, 60,000. Number of slaves who were Musa's personal servants, 12,000. Number of slaves who carried gold, 500. Number of miles traveled from Niani to Mecca, 4,000. Time it took to cross Mali on a donkey, 4 months. Number of camels, 1,000. Number of camels to carry gold,
80 to 100.
Amount of gold on each camel, 100 to 300 pounds. Distance a camel can travel without water, 100 miles. Distance a loaded camel can travel in a day, 20 to 25 miles. Total amount of gold for almsgiving, gifts, salaries, supplies, 24,000 pounds. People in the caravan, in addition to hook exercise persona, musicians, royal guards, flag bearers, doctors, teachers. Now, let's break down what this document is telling us. First of all, it paints the picture of a rather extravagant caravan crossing the Sahara all the way to the Arabian Peninsula to the city of Mecca. The first question that we see here is, what percentage of travelers on the Hajj were Musa's personal servants? That's pretty straightforward. If we go and look at the document, it says that the number of slaves who were his personal servants was 12,000. 12,000 servants just for the king. Why are you, that is your persona or character that you chose, going on this journey? What possible benefits may result? So you want to consider this from various different perspectives. Let's say you're a Furba, a governor, right? A Furba might believe that making the Hajj would please the king and gave them favor and raise their status. A griot might be excited because this is new material for stories for them. They're historians, so they get to see these foreign towns and come back and tell about it. A Muslim scholar might feel proud about traveling to the holiest site of Islam. Again, they're a Muslim scholar. What a journey for them. Not only to travel with the king, but to be able to go on this Hajj. A soldier might hope to win glory by protecting the king and others from robbers or possible enemies along this travel. Even a slave might feel honored by going on this journey, especially if they happen to be a Muslim by faith as well. What information might worry you about traveling on this Hajj? So let's look at the numbers again. What's something that you might be worried about? Take a moment, go look at the numbers. So now from the perspective of Furba, if you're Furba as a governor of your province, it might worry you that you're going to be gone for this much time. The journey itself takes 4 months to go one way. And now that means you have to return. So the entire journey itself could take a year, if not longer, especially if they're stopping and taking more time. A griot, for any of the travelers, this could be a rather intimidating journey. You're traveling through the desert. You are normally living in the savannah, which has pretty mild weather. So having to travel through the desert for 4,000 miles is rather intimidating for anybody going on the journey. Food would be a worry for everybody. Water would be a concern. Even a slave could worry maybe even about protection as they're going on this journey, and even medical care and so forth. So now take a look at the chart one more time. Which of these numbers do you think might be an exaggeration? There's two that stand out in particular, right? That Mansa Musa had 12,000 servants. That's a whole lot of personal servants for one person. That definitely could be an exaggeration. Even the number of people that went on the Hajj could be an exaggeration, 60,000. That's like taking a city worth of people on this journey with you. Just for perspective, the city of Almani itself has about 110,000 citizens. So you're taking about half of those on this journey with you. That's a lot of people. So that number could definitely be an exaggeration. Imagine what it would take to feed this amount of people, to feed the pack animals that are traveling with them as well. That it would be quite a feat. Anywhere that they're headed, it would be very difficult to provide all of their needs. Now lastly, your task at hand is to write a journal entry. So you're starting off your first journal entry. What are all of the thoughts that you have in your head as you're setting out on this journey? Think back to what character you chose to be. Or again, are you a Furba? Are you a Muslim scholar? Are you a griot? Are you a slave? Are you a soldier? Writing from that perspective, what would you feel? This first journal entry says, it's early on the day you are to set off on the Hajj with Mansa Musa. The number of travelers and animals is staggering. You will be following the trade route headed north across the grasslands to Walalta, a good 600 miles away. You move to your position near the head of the caravan. What are your thoughts as you wait to leave? What do you see around you, hear, smell? Be sure to include references from the document to support your writing. So again, go back to the document, give some specific numbers. What are you observing as a traveler? Remember, the numbers that we saw in this document were overwhelming, right? You could say that maybe from horizon to horizon, you see people and animals ready for this journey. Describe what you see, what you feel, what are your emotions, what are your thoughts as you prepare to set out on this exciting journey to Mecca with the king.